This video is for homework 2, which is graphing ellipses. And on the Canvas page, I said you just have to do 1 through 5 because those are the simple ones. I'll probably go through the other ones just so that you can see how to do it, because this is something that will come up again next year. So that's why we're going over it at the end of this year. So the first problem gives us an equation in standard form, and we can tell that it's in standard form because it's equal to 1. So a is the longer of the two. So that means that 64 is a squared. So that means that a is 8 and b is 3. So a is longer, b is shorter. And the center is at 0, 0 because this is just x squared and y squared. I'm going to write those down. So we have our center at 0, 0, which is here. And then a is beneath the x, so this means that it's going to be longer horizontally. So we have 8 to the left and 8 to the right. Those are our vertices. So that would be 8, 0, and negative 8, 0. And then b is going to be our movement vertically. So we go up 3 and down 3. So this would be 0, 3, and 0, negative 3 for our co-vertices. And then I'm going to draw this. And then the last thing that we need to find are the foci or the foci. I've heard it said both ways. I usually say foci, but sometimes I might say foci. Okay, so we have c squared equals a squared minus b squared. A squared minus b squared. So we have c squared equals 64 minus 9. So that's equal to 55. And then we take the square root. So that's the square root of 55. And if we put that in a calculator, that tells us that this is about 7.4. So it's the foci are always on the major axis. So 7.4, that'd be like right here and right here. That's where our foci are. And for the points, we would have it be 0, square root of 55, and 0, negative square root of 55. Oh, sorry, I flipped those, just like she did in the video. Okay, so we'd have square root of 55, 0, and then negative square root of 55, 0. And that's it for that question. The next one, we can see that the center is also at 0, 0 because it's just x squared and y squared. And then this, I'm going to put it over 1 just so that we can see that there is a number there. It's just 1. So obviously 36 is bigger than 1. So that means that a is 6 and b is 1 because that's the square root of 1. So this is going to be a horizontal ellipse because the bigger number is under the y. So that means that it's going to be longer. It's going to be a vertical ellipse because it's longer vertically in the y direction. So we have our center, and then we go up 6 and down 6, and then we go left 1 and right 1. So this is a really skinny ellipse. And that's beautiful. Okay, so the vertices, that's on our major axis, so that would be 0, 6 and 0, negative 6, and then the co-vertices are negative 1, 0 and 1, 0. The foci, that's c squared equals, I always want to write b squared first, I don't know why, a squared minus b squared. So that's 36 minus 1. 36 minus 1, which is 35. And so it's the square root of 35. And the square root of 36 is 6, so we know this is about like 5.9. So the foci are going to be really close to those vertices. And to write them as points, we're going to say 0 square root of 35 and 0 negative square root of 35. Okay, the next one is also centered at 0, 0. 16 is bigger than 7, so here we have A is 4, B would be the square root of 7. It's not a perfect square, so we just say the square root of 7. So 4, or A, is underneath, sorry, that kind of looks like a 9. It's underneath the X, so it's going to be longer horizontally. So I'm going to go to the left 4 and to the right 4. Oh, that's 5. Oh, goodness. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, square root of 7, square root of 9 is 3, so it's going to be like 2 point something. So we'll just put it like in between 2 and 3. And then I'm going to draw this. So the vertices, those are on the major axis, so that would be negative 4, 0, and 4, 0. And then the co-vertices are on the minor axis, so that would be 0 square root of 7 and 0 negative square root of 7. For the foci, this is c squared equals, I don't know why, it's always a squared minus b squared. I always want to put b first. Okay, so that would be 16 minus 7, which is just 9. So that means that c squared is 9, so c is 3. So we can just put our points right on 3. So the foci are at negative 3, 0, and 3, 0. Okay, the next one, the center is not at 0 because we have x plus 1 squared and y plus 1 squared. So that means that our center is at negative 1, negative 1, because it's the opposite of what you would think, because this is like x minus negative 1 and y minus negative 1. So 49 is bigger than 25, so that means that A is 7 and B is 5. And this is already in standard form because it's equal to 1. So I'm going to put my center on here. We're going to go negative 1, negative 1. And then A is below Y, so we're going to go up and down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's where those are. And then for our horizontal, we're going to go left and right 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how well I can draw this ellipse. Okay. So our vertices, those are on the longer axis, the major axis. So that's at negative 1, 6, and then we have negative 1, negative 8. The co-vertices, that would be at negative 6, negative 1, and then 4, negative 1. For the foci, we do c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So we have 49 minus 25, which tells us that c squared equals 24. So we know the square root of 25 is 5, so it's going to be like just under 5. So square root of 24 is about equal to 4.9. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4.9, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4.9. and that's from the center. So those are our foci. And the points would be -1, square root of 24. Well, we're not going to write the points for that one. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just skip that part. So then the center on number 5 is -3, 1. Right there. A is 9. My A's kind of look like 9s. A is 9, and then B is the square root of 45, which is not a perfect square. So this is going to be a vertical, sorry, this is going to be a vertical ellipse as well. So we're going to go up 9. And then down 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the square root of 45 is going to be like 6.7. I'm going to put it in my calculator really quick just to be sure. Yeah, it's 6.7. So I'm going to go over 6, about 6.7, and then to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.7. And then I'll draw my ellipse. Okay, we're gonna try this. Oh dear. Okay, we'll try this again. Oh goodness, it's harder to draw these than you would think. I think a lot of them end up looking like footballs or diamonds because it's hard to get that rounded edge, but that's okay. Okay, so the vertices, that's easy because we have -3, 10, and then -3, -8. For the co-vertices, we know that the y-coordinate is going to be 1. And we'll just do it as a decimal for these. So this would be -9.7, because this is 6.7, but it's already over 3, and then we have 3.7 for that. Okay, so then we have c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So that's 81 minus 45. So that means that c squared is the square root of 36, which is easy. That's 6. So we're going to go up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that puts our foci at -3, 7. And then -3, -5. So those are the ones that I want you to do as homework. So we just went through all of them. You should be able to go through this, and I just want you to understand it. So that's why I made this video, so that you can understand how to do all of those. I'll talk about how to do these ones. So on here, we need this equal to 1, so we're going to divide by 225. So let me pull up my Desmos calculator. And we'll split screen this. Maybe. There we go. Okay. I was struggling there for a second. So if we do 9 divided by 225 as a fraction, that would be 1 over 25. So that means that this would be x squared over 25 plus, if we do 25 over 225, that's 1 over 9. So that would be y squared over 9 equals 1. So now this is in standard form, and it's just the same as before. We do the same thing here. We want to divide by 972. So if we do 27 divided by 972 as a fraction, that tells us it's 1 over 36. So we have x minus 1 squared over 36 plus, I'm guessing this is going to be 27. Yep. So we have y plus 2 squared over 27 equals 1. And now it's the same. On number 8, this one, you have to complete the square, and we're not going to go through that because that's going to be pretty complicated. So don't do that one. But if you want to, you can check the key. So, but you just have to do 1 through 5 for credit on the homework. Okay, good luck.